Hey guys, today I'm going to do a little video on a project that we just finished, and that is an electrical system on this big fifth wheel. So this is a Grand Design Solitude fifth wheel. I don't even know how long it is, but it's pretty long. You can see it there. And so what we did is we put a multi-plus 2 inverter, which is capable of doing charging with shore power at 50 amps. And then we put a smart solar charge controller. We put 6 200-watt solar panels up on the roof for 1,200 watts total. And then we've got 400 amp hours of lithium batteries. So I'm gonna just kind of take you and walk you through this and show you what we did. So you can see right here are the lithium batteries. The customer had already purchased these, so he supplied them, but they're 4 100 amp hour Line Energy Safari UT 1300s. So those are good batteries. The only thing I really don't like about them is they only have 1/4 inch studs for the lugs, which normally batteries have 5/16, and I feel like that's a little undersized, but they have these special connectors and they seem to work okay. But if it was me, I would prefer to have 5/16 lugs on those. But anyway, so we secured those down. We've got L-track on either side with straps going over them, and then we've got some aluminum right here that will keep them from moving around. So they're really secure. They don't move at all. So we've got, and then over here you can see we've got the system that we did. So we've got the solar coming in right up here. So most of these RVs have solar already. They're kind of solar ready. So they have the wiring, they have a gland up on the roof and have the wiring coming down. So we just tapped into that wiring. It came out right here. We put that into the breaker, and then we go through that to the solar charge controller. He wants a lot of ability to upgrade this and add more solar panels in the future. And so we did a pretty big solar charge controller, a 250/60, which means it can handle up to 250 volts and 60 amps. And then over here, we've got the multi-plus 2. This is the split phase version of the multi-plus 2. It's a 12 volt, 3000 watt inverter charger. So it's capable of 50 amp shore power charging, which is what this RV came from the factory with. And then down here, so we come off of the batteries through a switch, through a Lynx distributor. Off the Lynx distributor, we tied in to the existing DC system on this RV, so it'll supply all that. And then we've got it going to the inverter and also to the solar charge controller. So we really like the Lynx distributor because it's just a really clean way to organize everything. And then you can see right down here, we've got the smart shunt, so we can monitor both the overall system as well as the solar charge controller using Bluetooth. And so yeah, I think he was really concerned to keep a lot of space, so that's why we put all the batteries over here on this left side, and he's still got all that space over to the right where he can store things. So I think the installation came out really clean. Let me take you inside and I'll show you what we did. Basically, we brought the wiring through this bulkhead, we ran it along here, and then we came up, kind of there's a chase where a lot of other wires are, where we went up and to the breaker panel. So the breaker panel is located just inside right here. And so basically what you have to do on these is the shore power is normally connected to this 50 amp breaker. And so you have no AC unless you're connected to shore power. So what we do is we can disconnect the shore power from that breaker. We splice it and then run a new wire up to the inverter charger, and then we run another wire from the inverter charger back to this breaker and connect back to this panel and connect it to this breaker. So basically we've taken the shore power and sent it to the inverter and then the power back to the breaker. So without having to rewire anything else, we're able to just connect it into there and run the AC. And then right here we've got the Serbo touchscreen, and we're able to mount this kind of where he has some of these other things. You can see we can see the whole system from there. Right now we're fully charged, and so we're only getting 40 watts of solar because it's fully charged, so it's in float mode right now. But if we were, lower than that, we were getting close to 1,000 watts a little bit earlier today when it was still charging. So I'll take you up on the roof now and just show you what we did up there. So up here are the 6 solar panels. You can see them here. And we've run these. So these front 3 are in series, and then the rear 3 are in series. And then we've combined those into parallel. So you can see we fuse those because when you run them in parallel, it increases the amperage. So you need to fuse them most of the time. And then we just run those down with the existing gland and wiring there. Now the series parallel combo is nice because when you run all your panels in series, even though you keep the amperage low, because you're with each panel you're increasing the voltage, but you're not increasing the amperage. But the downfall with series is that if one panel gets shade, none of the panels are going to charge. So then with parallel, the benefit to that is that if you get shade on one panel, all the other panels are going to work. But the downside of parallel is that you increase the amperage. And if you're having quite a few panels, like 6 that we have, you're going to increase your amperage quite a bit, which is going to require you to have a much more expensive solar charge controller, bigger wire. And so doing the combo where we do a series and then combine those parallel, you kind of get the best of both worlds. So that's how we did this. That's what the customer wanted. I think it worked out really well. So if you have an RV, I would say that upgrading, adding an off-grid electrical system is a huge win. It allows you to not have to be plugged into shore power all the time. You know, with 400 amp hours of battery, he's not going to be able to run both of his 120 volt air conditioners all the time or for very long, but he can run them a little bit. But pretty much everything else he's going to be able to do. This, with 1,200 watts of solar, he's going to be able to charge everything. He's going to be able to run pretty much everything else besides the air conditioners. He may add a couple of batteries down the road a little bit, and that would allow him to run the air conditioners for a little bit longer. The price of lithium batteries is coming down. It's really not that expensive to do a big battery bank like 600, 800 amp hours or even more. So if you've got an RV that you're thinking about upgrading, I say go for it. If you'd like to have us do that, that's something we do. It takes us about 3 or 4 days, and you can check out our website for more information on that. And I should mention that we have just recently become ABYC certified electrical technicians, and ABYC stands for the American Boat and Yacht Council. And you may be thinking to yourself, what does that have to do with RVs and vans? Well, it doesn't have a lot, other than some of these things are kind of like a land yacht, but it's a very high standard of electrical. There's another one called RVIA, which is the Recreational Vehicle Institute of America, I think. And we just think it's worth it because you just don't want to have problems with your electrical system. You want to know that it's safe and solid and it's going to work for years. That's why we use high-end equipment and why we believe the ABYC certification is so important. We're also now building electrical systems and plumbing systems for vans for DIY builders. If you would like to have us build a system that you can just drop into your van and connect it, we're now doing that. We're doing our first project here in a couple of weeks, and we can either install them if you want to bring your van to our shop, or we can ship you the units that you can just drop in. Right now we're just doing them for Mercedes Sprinters, but if you have a Transit or a ProMaster that you would like us to do, we could modify our enclosures and make that work for you. So thanks for watching, and be sure to smash that like button if you got value out of this video, and we'll see you in the next video. Jeff with Thrive Vans, Thrive On. See ya.